Once upon a time, Ate River was also a baby river, and baby River was 13, 12 years old back then. And one day she made the most horrifying mistake of her life. Yes, I am being dramatic because I was 13. Because that was such a big, big, big mistake that I will never do again. I swore to my life that I will never do that again. Yes, I am being dramatic again because I was a teenager and things were a big deal for me. So I remembered, yes, I made that mistake. Ran to my classroom with my chest feeling like I'm about to burst because I wanted to cry so much. Ran to my classroom, went to the corner of the room, hurdled myself like I was hunched over with, was trying to like pretend that I'm not crying, but obviously I was getting people's attention in my room. I was crying so much, and then my classmates, being the darlings that they were, they went to me, they were trying to comfort me, and they were like, "It's okay." And then I was crying to them, and I was telling them, well, while being a nervous wreck, I was telling them, "Hey, I did this, ganyan, ganyan." And they were like, "No, it's okay, ganyan, ganyan." And they were like, "Oh my gosh, if I did that too, I would be the same as her." But anyway, once na nahimasmasan na ako, of course I know that I have to face my mistake because I have no other way to face it but face it. So the first thing I did was I ran to my ates. Okay, I am the panganay. What I meant by ates was the grade 11 and the grade 12 students back then. I was grade 7. I really was a baby. And I was explaining to them while my eyes were so mugto, I had such a puffy face. I was crying to them. Ganyan. They were like, "Okay." They sat me down, looked at me dead in the eyes, and they were like, "What happened?" And I was explaining it to them. And they were like, their eyes and their aura, their warmth was like, "Okay, you're safe, come on, tell us what happened," ganyan. And once I've told them and poured my whole heart, telling them that it's a mistake, ganyan, ganyan, they told me what to do next. They were instantly in problem solving mode. And they were like, "Okay, this is what you have to do, and then we will handle the rest." In that moment, they were brave enough and they were such chivalrous enough to look after their baby sister. And parang sabi ko, "Wow, I want to be like that too." Yes, I was still crying, but I want to be like that too. And the thing about my school back then was that they will always ask us, "Who is your role model?" or "Who is your idol?" And since that day, I would always write ate this and ate that, and the reason behind it, because they handle pressure with grace. In other words, they have a quality that I want to have, which is grace under pressure. And for the longest time, their behavior, their calm demeanor, their problem-solving instincts were something or were skills that I wanted to perfect growing up. So eventually, Baby River became River. Bago pa siya maging ate, she was just River. And during that time, I was still being introduced with the disappointments of life very casually, very slowly. And around that time, it was college applications. And I was feeling so much anxiety na, "Oh no, what if I don't get in my dream school? What if my autobio isn't good enough? What if my grades aren't good enough for this school?" And I was just such a worrywart. And sakto, my moderator back then, she put meaning to the phrase grace under pressure. Parang sabi ko, I want to have grace under pressure, but how can I be graceful when there's so much pressure? Reminder, I was 16. I was, no, 16, 17 years old. So yes, I was still being dramatic. When you're a teenager, the world is just so big for you. When in real, it's just so small compared to the grand scheme of things. But anyway, I was feeling so much pressure because my future is literally in my hands if I don't do well in the college applications. And she told me, "Diamonds are made under the worst pressure." And she said, diamonds go through, yes, the cycles of a rock, but in a more tedious and more forceful manner. In Tagalog, didikdikin ka talaga until you become a fine rock of a diamond. And what's good about these learnings of mine was that I realized that my biggest life lessons, regardless of whether or not it may be good or bad, was that it came from a woman. A woman who may or may not have hurt me, but regardless, my biggest life lessons were from a woman. And for the longest time, I really believed that if I were to grow and if I were to become the best version of myself, I have to willingly throw myself to the pits of life and get hurt to learn. So for the longest time, I was like, if I'm in a very bad position or if I find myself in compromising circumstances, I will be stubborn enough to not get out of that because I will be like, no, I will learn something. I will learn and I'll become better. Ganyan. But the thing is, it took a toll on my mental health. And eventually, I just wondered, do I really have to get hurt all the time for me to learn? Because at one point it became absolutely terrifying. And as I grew older and the stakes are becoming more and more heavier, I wondered, is this something substantial or is this really something that I should do for me? Is it nurturing? Is it life-giving? Is it what I'm supposed to be or is it something that is healthy for me? And the answer was no. So, diba, from grace under pressure to a diamond being going through so much pressure, I became a 21-year-old ate. And the other day, my mom went to my room and she gave me yet another life changing advice. And yes, it came from, again, a woman. And the other day I was a nervous wreck as well. I was so crying. I was having an episode and it was hard for me to control my emotions. And I was like, okay, I have to calm down. I have to calm down. And my mom came in my room and she was like, okay, let me tell you something. And the thing about parents is that from from acts of like, okay, you have to do this, that. When you get older, it will become pieces of advice. And my mom gave me a piece of advice that I guess has been a recurring theme whenever she does give me bits and pieces of her wisdom. She said, regardless of whether you see yourself in a dark, murky, boorish position, regardless of people betraying you, hurting you, and making you feel like life is nothing but burdens and disappointments, stop, collect yourself, and see what is good. Or look, regardless of how hard it is, look for what is good. And then do the next right thing. By seeing what is good or looking deeply for what is good, what she meant by that, okay, this person may have hurt you, but what are the good things this person has done to you? Yes, that situation was very compromising for you, but who were the people there, or what was something there that you felt was good and calm and light and life giving? And that's when, once you found it, do the next right thing. And I was like, yeah, that makes total sense. Because you know how they say na, don't make big decisions when you're angry, when you're sad, even when you're happy or when you feel most jovial. Because more than likely, your emotions will affect the decisions that you make. And since your decisions are motivated by strong emotions, it will be something that will be prone to regret in the future. Kaya, when you make decisions, do it when you are most calm or calmest, when you are at most peace. Once you've found the good and the bad in the situation, that's when you make the next right thing. So I realized that my mom's philosophy has nothing but four words. I already have it in my fingers, but four words: seek good, do right. And it made me think, am I capable of becoming a good mom like my mom? Ang layo diba ng shift? But like, am I capable of giving good pieces of advice to my kids one day like my mom does? Or am I capable of becoming a good mommy? Because anyone could become a mother, but not anyone could become a mommy. Because the thing about my mom is that she sees everything with so much optimism and so much light and so much good that it just manifests in the way she carries herself, to the decisions that she makes, to her voice, to her demeanor. She's a big ball of sunshine. And then of course I would compare myself to her daughter. Do I have that? Parang, can I actually say that I have those qualities? Maybe not, maybe yes, but then I had to take a step back and look at it in retrospect. Why am I having such a bad time knowing that I'm a bad person or a good person, or gauging if I am either good or bad. Because I know in my heart that I'm a decent person. I don't want to sugarcoat myself, but why is it such a hard thing for me to admit that I am fairly good? And that's when it hit me. I am in my season of repair. I am in my healing era. It's normal for me to forget that I am a beacon of light and a vessel of love. Because once you've surrounded yourself, or if you've surrounded yourself for a long time with bad energy, bad vibrations, bad things, obviously the way you see yourself would also be in a negative light. So parang I wondered, can I be like my mom? Can I be like that? What if my kids do bad things? What if they hurt other people? What if they make bad decisions? Because of course it would reflect greatly on me if I haven't healed. So parang it made me think, okay, I have to heal fast. I have to do it quickly. I have to do it right. But that's the thing with healing. It takes such a long time. You cannot rush healing, but instead you have to go through the process of these overthinking episodes in your head of whether you are good or bad, but eventually collect yourself in the end and doing the next right thing regardless of how big or small that is. And so I had to ask myself the big question again. Do I have to get hurt to learn again, then do the right thing? Because to be honest with you, I do not want to trade the peace that I have now that I'm in my healing era or in my season of repair. The peace that I have now is so much valuable to me than to go back to my past tendencies of throwing myself in the pits of hell and just to learn. I don't want that anymore. But if I don't do that anymore, what if I don't get to learn? Because I'm obsessed with learning. I love being a learner. What if I don't learn anything because I don't take risk? What if I don't learn anything because I'm too scared of getting hurt again because my piece is more valuable than anything? And here's the thing. Of course, I was overthinking. And it took one night's sleep for me to understand that you don't have to get hurt to learn anymore, especially once you've reached a peak in your life that you no longer want to go through. Because once you've reached the peak, what will you do after? Sustain the peace. And that's what I want. That is my current goal. Keep the peace. Do good, do right. And if I still want to learn, the thing is, I already am. You don't have to get hurt to learn because life in itself is already your biggest teacher. And you, being subjected to life, being in life, you are already a student. And like all students out there, and like all other schools out there with learning at the center of its pedagogy, some students are absolutely genius, while there are students who are not the sharpest tool in the shed. And what do good teachers do? They sit beside the student, the struggling student, and they teach over and over and over again the same question, paulit-ulit yan until they get it right. And once they've gotten it right, if and only if they learn from that question or from that scenario, that's when the teacher would be like, okay, you're ready to move on. You're ready to be better. Okay, grade 1, grade 2, ganon. Step-by-step process siya. And parang that's quite true. And the thing about being life as a teacher or living as a big school, when you position yourself as a student or as a learner, the stakes are absolutely low. You don't have to worry about being perfect. You don't have to worry about being the best. You just have to worry about doing good and doing right. And I guess that's something that I wish I knew when I was younger. You don't have to put too much pressure on becoming perfect. You just have to always be hungry to learn and be humble enough to position yourself as a student. So if right now you're feeling like you don't deserve to, or if you feel too scared of learning again, if you feel too scared of throwing yourself at life again, don't worry. You're not the only one that life is teaching. There are others out there who are willing to teach you the same lessons that they have been learning, like the ATES or the moderators or the mom that I have. They will teach you from grace under pressure to diamond under pressure to gentleness under pressure, or perhaps looking for peace under pressure. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. Life is but a big school where you have to keep wanting to be a student. If you continue to throw rocks at your teacher for not teaching you right enough, perhaps you want to take a step back and try to ponder, is it really the teacher who is at fault here? Or is it because I, as a student, don't want to learn and I'm stubborn enough to learn other things aside from what life, the teacher, is teaching me? So that's a thought for you to ponder. Wherever you are now, I hope you are safe. If it's morning, good morning, and if it's night, I hope you are safe and you and your thoughts are sound. Hey, this is your online at the river. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!